Greetings and welcome to this evening's stream. I am your host, Lilim Nightshade, and you may notice I'm a bit more animated than you may be used to. That is right, I finally have a Live2D model. So now I can move around more than I could before. Welcome all. I have been encouraged to do a debut stream of sorts, even though I have been streaming for a while. That is a stupid feature. I'm just gonna ignore that. I did not realize that when you send emotes, it just drops onto your model like that. Twitch integration, I suppose. At any rate, I've been encouraged to do something akin to a debut stream since we never initially introduced ourselves properly with profiles and all the works, you could say. So let me work on doing that real quick. This will probably be brief, and it will be a short stream here, and don't have a lot to say about myself, but we'll see how far we get. And if anyone has questions, they are encouraged to ask them, and I will try to answer to the best of my ability. But let us begin with the presentation. I'll switch layouts so we have more space. Maybe. Thank you. Alright, so let us begin with the bio. As I said at the beginning, my name is Lilim Nightshade. My race is demon. There are some rumors that I may also be a vampire. I will neither confirm nor deny that. My birthday is November 12th. My height, 5'5", or if you use the metric system, 165 centimeters. My favorite colors include black and purple, which should be evident from my design. My favorite drink is red wine. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Move on to the next graphic here. So things I enjoy. I was not entirely certain how to phrase this, so I just said gothic aesthetics. Hopefully you can figure out what that relates to. It's also heavily influenced my game choices. Anything with that sort of feel I tend to be drawn to as far as playing. We can talk about games more lately. Chat's not in a good location right now, though I just realized. I'm gonna move it temporarily. Over here. Anyway, I also enjoy a variety of musical instruments, as I am musically inclined. Some of my favorites are guitars, violins, organs, and pianos. If you can find a song that combines all of these, I'll probably enjoy it. The more of those that are used well, the more I'll like the song. And actually, I forgot, I think I turned it off when I switched scenes here, but let me go back to the background music that I'm supposed to have. It combines a lot of different instruments that are to my taste. I also enjoy books and knives. Do not ask questions about that one. I dislike people and bright lights. Duckface is always better, I say. Hobbies of mine include writing and music. I enjoy both writing novels and poetry. However, I don't have anything published yet. We will talk about that later, though. I also don't have any music that I've composed yet, but that's another thing I'll talk about later. Some games I enjoy include chess, Alice Madness Returns, and the Castlevania series. A short list of artists I enjoy music from include Epica, Within Temptation, Nightwish, Evanescence, Black Sabbath, Rob Zombie, Incubus Succubus, the Transylvanian Orchestra, Chopin, and Bach. You weren't around when I used to do chess streams. Those were some of the first streams I did when I began VTubing. I played chess a little bit, but I didn't find that it was that engaging to the viewers, so I didn't do it as much. Also, my main choices were just playing a chess.com bot, which I don't know how entertaining that is. I didn't really have actual people to play. Though, if viewers do want to play chess with me, that can be arranged in the future. That is true, chess does need a chess-loving audience. There are some streamers that are very successful at it because they are very highly skilled players, like the International Master or higher. Music Grandmasters can do well with streaming. But yes, I can do a chess stream if I can find someone to play, so if some of my audience would like to play me in a match, we could do that. Even if you do not know how to play chess very well, I am willing to teach. I would love to show someone how to play in order to have someone to play the game with. So do consider that. But anyway, I believe there's only one more graphic here, which is all the different credits and miscellaneous. For art hashtag, although I do not anticipate this being used, if you do wish to post fan art on whatever social media platform, the hashtag is Lillustration. My fan club name is referred to as Boodlings. Emoji associated with me would be the guitar and bat emojis. And we created the model that you see on screen ourselves. Both the art assets and the rigging were 100% done by us. And let me take a moment. Find the right window here. Actually, let me go back to this view real quick. And hide all these other unnecessary things. Alright, give a better look at this. So you can see the full model. There, that should have everything on view. But yes, it may be a bit rough, as it was our first time ever doing Live2D. And we did all the art manually and did all the rigging manually. I would not say we are necessarily accomplished artists, and we're definitely not experienced riggers, so if things do look off and don't quite move correctly, well, it was our first time. But it does show the possibility of doing everything yourself, potentially. You do not necessarily need to spend a lot of money for Live2D to become a VTuber. If you have time and dedication, you can do everything yourself and spend no money on it. And that is exactly what we did here. So, I suppose let that be a bit of an inspiration for people. Not exactly where I was positioned before, we'll just go with that. Yes, we are satisfied with it as a first-time effort. Obviously, more experienced in either side would do better, but it is better than nothing. I just said, if we can do it, anyone can do it. So that's more of the message here. Let me back to the presentation. The background music that you hear during the loading screen and a little softer, I believe it's still audible here right now, was made by Zach Burgundy. You can find them on, I believe, both TikTok and Instagram at the same handle, just no space in between the two names. And I believe they also have a YouTube channel, which is similar, but there's some numbers at the end of it that I do not recall. I forgot to write that down. And we also, of course, had a Discord server that our chatbot will occasionally plug anyway. If you are not a member of that, feel free to join. And you can keep up on everything happening with our channel, interact with us, see our schedules, get notifications when we go live, recommend games to us, and all those things you would do in a VTuber community. And then lastly, I will list my aspirations. The first one is being able to afford musical instruments that can be played on stream. Hopefully through a combination of subs, ad revenue, and perhaps donations directly, we will be able to afford to buy some musical instruments that I can play. Then I would need to obviously learn them and make my own music with that. So that's goal number 2. As I understand things about basic music theory, I've never physically had a musical instrument, so everything in theory can go out the window until you do it in practice. So that would be something where I have to take time to learn. And then the third goal is publishing my own novel. For those of you who are not familiar, Shui wrote a novel, a light novel technically, a little while back and published it. I am the actual main writer here, so interestingly, I have not done that yet, so I feel like I should do that as well. So that's a goal of mine, is to finish a story and get that published. So as I said, this would be very brief, and that is my introduction and all I have to really say about myself, and you got to see the model and everything that comes with that. There are no toggles to show off, as I do not make expressions. So this is basically all you get. We certainly have the capability to use toggles and other expressions, but it was not appropriate for me, so that is why this model does not have any of that. So does anyone want to know anything? Is there anything I failed to cover? I cannot say I particularly know how these sorts of streams are supposed to go, but I have presented all of my information. And if anyone wishes to chat, I am open to that until the end of the stream. Otherwise, I do not know what to say. I could expand or elaborate upon any point that was presented if you want more information about anything I mentioned. Just let me know what topic to get into. still trying to catch up on your Castlevania videos on YouTube, but you're doing well in the current playthrough. Yes, I've noticed that you have also been playing Castlevania lately. Unfortunately, all your streams are when we're at work, so we're never able to catch them. Do you upload your playthroughs to YouTube as well? I think you said you're on Dracula X now? I think you bought it for use on YouTube. Fair enough. Do you save the VODs on Twitch then? Because I know that Twitch only keeps them for a limited amount of time. It is unfortunate that you do not do more streams later in the evening when we can catch them. You have VODs saved for 60 days. If you have Twitch Prime, I believe it saves for 60 days. After Dawn of Sorrow. That is a good question. I was thinking of possibly playing Rondo of Blood next. I see. Well then, if you are streaming a Castlevania game at night, perhaps I'll be able to catch one. Which ones have you played thus far? I know you did at least the first GBA game. Did you do the second one as well? Playing Castlevania Advanced Collection. The Circle, Harmony, and Drag. That is a weird grouping. Why would it be Circle, Harmony, and then Dracula X for the Advanced Collection? Should it not be Circle, Harmony, and then Aria of Sorrow? Thank you. As I was saying earlier, we may be art assets and the reeking ourselves. So if something looks off, it's because we are inexperienced at this. But it does show what you can do when you take the time and effort. Dracula X is a bonus team. That is interesting. You may have noticed that Aria was the one I started with for my streaming of Castlevania. Only because it was a game I had played before, so I wanted to start with something that was a bit familiar so I can get back into the rhythm of playing games such as that. And then I went to Dawn because it was a sequel to that game. That's what I am currently playing. And I might be jumping around a lot from various games. Like I said, I was planning on doing Rondo of Blood next, and then possibly Portrait of Ruin. Although I do need to play Symphony of the Night at some point as well. So perhaps that should go after Rondo. I have not decided yet, I'll have to sort that out. Yeah, I just realized that when I said that symphony would be the logical follow-up to it. What is the other one you played on the DS? Was it Dawn of Star or Order of Ecclesia? We shall see. I will sort that out when I get closer to the time when it's relevant. First, I need to get to the current game. And I do have the next game mapped out, but I'm gonna take it a few games at a time when figuring out my path. Indeed. Yes, while I do not have many other good options at the moment, if something does come up, I may wish to break away from Castlevania for a moment and then go back to it later. I have heard of it, though I do not know the details. I see. I would advise giving any game suggestions in my channel in our Discord server so that I'll be able to reference those later and remember them, as I will not remember this chat later on, and unless I go through the VOD and kind of comb through the whole thing to find that suggestion, it's gonna be hard to find that again. And for those of you who are not in the Discord server, this is the link to it. Yeah, and we're always open to gaming suggestions. Just pop in and use the respective channel for us, to just our name. And you can just post any kind of thing there, such as a game suggestion, and we'll look into it. Best way to remember it. I suppose one other thing I could potentially talk about is I did mention wishing to write a novel in the future. Well, I should say publish a novel in the future. I've already begun writing a little bit. I've had a couple of stories that I have played around with, but the one that may be most likely to get published first is one that involves vampires, since we're discussing vampire-related things. Although it is not your typical vampire story by any means. It is certainly not a horror story. And no, it is not a romance story either, so do not think that. I've had some people suggest that. The plot is hard to define. I do not know what to compare it to exactly. It's sort of a speculative fiction story, borderlining on suspense at times, I suppose. No, it is not even remotely close to Twilight. I would never do that. But no, it's not even necessarily fair to say it is a vampire story. It is more a regular story that happens to have vampire characters and other supernatural creatures in it. It is a mystery. And no, I wouldn't necessarily call it a mystery. There may be things that... I suppose there is a mystery aspect to it at some point. The story overall is not a mystery, but there is something that happens that needs to be solved by one of the characters. There's basically a mystery subplot in it, but it's a very small portion of the overall story, and the overall plot is not a mystery, if that makes sense. Slice of unlife? You can perhaps call it that, but it is not very whimsical or carefree. It's a more serious story, even though it does have its comedic moments, most likely. Well, I would say comedic moments, but let's just say there's certain characters that could be considered comic relief, just by the nature of them being so utterly foolish. But it is mostly a serious story that deals with supernatural elements. Like I said before, speculative fiction could be a category for it. There is a mystery subplot. There are some moments of suspense. Some parts might entail violence. It's definitely for adult readers. It wouldn't be like a teen story, I would say. It is somewhat of a unique type of story, but in some ways, you could compare it. The best I could say, because the author that gives me the most inspiration for writing is Dean Koontz. So you could sort of compare it to one of his stories. Obviously not exactly like his, well, nothing like his writing really, but I do draw some inspiration for writing from his types of works. Particularly the ones that do deal with supernatural stuff. I believe I went over those with you personally, but I will tell them for the other viewers watching. Like I said, one of the characters is main character, I should say, is a vampire. And she also has a couple of staff members who serve her who are also vampires. There is an assassin involved in the story. I don't want to get too deep into the characters in it, though, because some of them are kind of spoilers if I say too much information on them. There is a self-proclaimed vampire hunter as a character in the story, but not one that you should take seriously. I will say that there are other supernatural creatures aside from vampires, but I will not say exactly what they are, because that is a spoiler. I assume you do not hunt for them in the same way as this character does, though. So, are there any other talking points that I should discuss? For more info on the novel. I do not have a definitive title yet, though I suppose you could call the work in progress title Shadows of Comorta. I'm also getting a notification from Twitch that an ad break is about to start in less than a minute. I do not know how many of my viewers will receive the ad, though once it does start, I may wish to pause a bit on speaking so that they don't miss things. Yes, I am aware you are immune, but not everyone is. That is a great question, and I will answer it after Twitch tells me the ad break is done. And for those of you who are immune to ads, I'm going to pull up the answer to that question and get it prepared. Young got the ad vaccine, and perhaps he needed a vaccine. Indeed. It says about 25 seconds left on that break. Okay, according to my dashboard, everyone should be able to hear the stream again. So the question before that break was, what kind of guitar would I buy once I could? And we actually made artwork depicting a rough idea of my ideal guitar. So let me add that to the stream. Man. make this a little bigger. And this is the art we created. Have the type of guitar I would want. It is a Epiphone Les Paul custom. Yeah, that is a future idea. I do recall, I believe it was Roe who was working on making his model able to hold a guitar. And I would like to have that in the future as well. But first I need to obtain a guitar. Before it makes sense to have my model hold one. Perhaps it does by now. I just know that it was a little while back he was still working on that. And I think he was showing a model he had in progress that had the holding pose. But he's here, he can confirm. Yes, that can happen sometimes. I imagine a lot of people multitask during streams. We have known people who essentially just put on streams as background noise while they work on other things. Do some people need that? Maybe I can get rid of this now. But yeah, I would like to get some variety of an Epiphone Les Paul. Preferably one that's not too expensive to start with, because the pricier it is, the more money we need to raise before we can buy it. But a lower end starter guitar would be fine. Nice to hear someone's voice sometimes, especially when it is a nice voice. That is true. Or even sometimes, perhaps, when someone's playing a game that you like, you might just want to listen to the game soundtrack in the background. I am certainly not buying a ukulele. I do know someone who would like one, but that is not me. I see. Yeah, we'll look around in the future. We are not nearly ready for that. We need to earn more money before we can make such a purchase. But you can always help the cause by subscribing to our channel or giving us donations. And further me towards being able to have a guitar to play. Any other questions? Or just things in general you'd like me to talk about? Do you like cooking? I have no sentiments towards cooking, personally. I am certainly not the one in charge of preparing the meals. I leave that sort of thing up to others. Also, for those of you who are not aware, this is just the first of 3 unveilings. The next 2 will be this weekend. They'll start the same time as this stream did, 6 p.m. Pacific. You will be able to see Cersei's Live2D model on Saturday and Daedra's Live2D model on Sunday. Does anyone else have anything else for me before I go? If not, I will be handing over a raid to Ellen Majel before I leave. And I will invite you to come back to this channel Saturday for Cersei's debut. For now, I will depart.